Welcome to Black Horror. Welcome to Black Horror. Welcome to Horror's Digest. Welcome to Horror's Digest. Oh, shit. Today, I want to look at the complaints about Jambojet. So, if you go online, every day you just Google, search Jambojet flight delays. There's so many tweets in there. And I thought about, is this really real that Jambojet delays, or is it just in people's minds? Or is a very tiny section of delays that are there? One of the fascinating, funny stories I came about on these tweets was Boniface Mwangi. So I think on the 8th of March this year, he wanted to surprise his wife in Mombasa. So he booked a Jambojet flight at 5:30 p.m., hoping to get there, surprise her for dinner, and then have a good time. But then he got there and Jambojet had a 3-hour flight delay. He ended up flying at 7 p.m., got to Mombasa, I think by around 9. By the time he got to the hotel, his wife was already asleep. So he ended up surprising himself. Myself too, this is my ticket. On 2nd of April, I got booked on Jambojet flight to Mombasa that was leaving at 4:05 p.m. Got to the airport, ended up staying in the airport for 4 hours and 15 minutes. That's 4 hours lingering JK looking for cheap liquor. And they couldn't get it. So even the ticket says it's supposed to depart at 7:30. We ended up departing at 8:20 p.m. So this problem seems like it's all over. And everyone seems to be having that perception that Jambojet is a flight delay monster. One other person, Peter Salasia, is a current MP of Mumias East. I think he's also the youngest MP in Parliament. Delayed his flight. He could not board his flight, and he was asked to pay more to book another flight. So next time he flew with Jambojet delayed with 20 minutes. And so he proposed that
watarudishia mimi pesa, watarudishia pesa, mrukumen uangalie maneno, tukue na uko na sometime. Si unataka ukikosa hata kama ni 5 minutes, wanakuwekea watu wa connectie kwa wengine kama if possible. Ama pia but si wakuwa na pia hao delay pia wakuwa na kurudisha kitu on top of it. Kama hapa hivi naenda niulize watu wa Jambojet, mnaturudishia yako pesa. Jambojet mrudishie hapa pesa kwa sababu pia mimi nimeishi. Ama nitapeleka kwa bunge nimbone niulize maswali. Mbona mnafanya hivi? Equal. You scratch my back, I scratch yours too.
Which is a great idea you should have. And I think in the US, they have it for canceled flights. And I think for every 10 minutes that get delayed, you get a refund back for that. So let's look at this thing. Is it true or not? So I got to ask myself, what is the probability of getting into a random flight on Jambojet and getting delayed for more than 15 minutes? So actually the international definition of a delayed flight is a flight that has taken more than 15 minutes between leaving the gate and the scheduled departure time. So I went to the holy grail of data. That's Flight Radar 24. They track all flights in the world. Aircrafts are mandated to report their leaving time, their arrival time, and even track the time that they go into. So it's a very nice website with all this data that you can use. So I narrowed down into JKA and focused on departure flights from JKA. And in here, I looked at all flights that are leaving for about 2 months, starting about 27th of March this year, up to about 22nd of May this year. And took all that data and narrowed down on Jambojet. So what's the first thing I was interested in? Departure time versus scheduled time. That gives us the difference for the delay. So took the data, did some data wizardry. I guess what I found. The average delay time of a Jambojet flight is 13 minutes, which is pretty impressive. But then I asked myself, so if all the flights, so this is about 1,000 200 flights within this period of about 2 months. Only 58% of these flights are within 15 minutes of the scheduled departure time. So that means your probability of getting to a random flight on Jambojet and getting delayed is 0.58. That seems pretty low if you compare it with the global standards. In the US, which has hundreds of thousands of flights every day within the country, the delay is about 15% of all flights. If you look at the decade data, it's about 15% of the flights that get delayed. And these are very busy airports. So there must be some stuff with Jambojet. Jambojet operates about 7 aircrafts. These are the DHC 8400 aircrafts for this. And they use them for their local flights and the regional flights to Goma. So if you look at a typical day of an aircraft, a typical aircraft will do about 8 trips a day. So it will start in Nairobi, fly to Kisumu, come back to Nairobi, fly to Lamu, perhaps come back to Nairobi, then fly to Malindi, come back to Nairobi, fly to Goma, then come back in the evening and park at JKIA. So all these flights have to be busy throughout the day and have a quick turnaround time for cleaning up the plane, doing maintenance check on that, and then reroute it to the next plane. All right, so after analyzing all this data, what do we find out? First things, one of the very fascinating things that I found out that the delayed flights, like the severely delayed flights, are actually the evening flights. And there's a very interesting reason for that, because you have compounded delay. If the morning flight left late by 10 minutes from Nairobi, then got delayed for another 10 minutes in Kisumu flying back, by the time it's getting to the evening, you have accumulated delays so that the aircraft already arrives late. There are procedures that have to be undertaken so that the plane is ready for leaving. So if you plot out first flight, second flight, you figure out that it's actually the evening flights that get severely delayed. And there's one example for a flight in, I think it was Eldoret. They got delayed for 23 hours. The flight was supposed to leave at 5. It ended up leaving at 2 a.m. in the morning. And another flight to Mombasa got delayed almost by similar margin. Supposed to leave at 6 in the evening, ended up leaving at 1:25 the next day in the morning. So that's interesting. And then if you look at the severely delayed flights, we're talking about 3+ hours. These are Mombasa flights. Reason why? I don't know. But Mombasa has the highest frequency of flights. So if you're going to delay flights by 10 minutes, 20 minutes, all that, by the time you're getting to the evening, you're almost 1 hour, 2 hours late. And if you factor in the maintenance, if you factor in the cleaning of the flights, of the plane, all that, then you have 1, 2, 3 hour flight delays. But something else, if you have to look at what are the common causes of flight delays. Number 1, late flights coming in. Then you have other factors like refueling, crew readiness, other factors like the air traffic controllers might delay flights because an airport is busy or the runway is under maintenance or other issues. But most issues are internal issues. Maintenance, crew being ready, servicing the aircraft, and all that. So, what do you think about Jambojet? Would you check them if you compare Jambojet with other smaller flights going to Mombasa, Safari Link, Fly 540, and the rest? Smaller aircrafts would get to Mombasa faster, but we'd prefer to go there with the Jambojet because it's a bigger aircraft. You land at a bigger airport. The flight is much more comfortable. What do you advise Jambojet to do? Buy another plane. A couple of years ago when Jambojet had very few aircrafts, the delays were insane. And over 3 years, I think Jambojet added 3 more aircrafts into their fleet. And now they've improved the delivery compared to 3 years ago. But that hasn't completely eliminate the problem of flight delays. So whose problem is it? Some of it is contributed by ground crew for making the aircraft ready, flight controllers, and just general things needed for the aircraft to be ready for flying. So as a consumer, is it a problem? What would Jambojet do? I'd suggest two things. One of the things is that research has shown that most people don't care about flight delays if it's communicated very well in advance in time. Another thing, how about giving free flights when there's a delay for more than an hour for that? I would like my flight to be delayed so that I can get a free flight next time to Mombasa. And finally, is this problem so severe? Well, given that only 58% of the flights made it on time, it's titling on being severe or not. Perhaps if you extend the data to perhaps 6 months, a whole year, that number might shrink, and eliminating incidences like when the Singapore cargo airline had a mishap in the runway at JKA and most flights were delayed or cancelled for that. Then you can find that actually Jambojet has more flights that leave on time, according to us. So in the next NPS score, how likely are you to recommend Jambojet to a friend? I would give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a decent enough aircraft, but what if I was to miss a connecting flight which has happened to so many people, or miss an important meeting? There should be some form of compensation that makes me feel like that delay was worth it for that. The flight delays suck. They suck a lot. Think about you're all cramped up in the airport lobby waiting for your flight to be announced, trying to get drunk, trying to read a book. Nothing works. And the flight to Mombasa, we got delayed before us. We got to Mombasa. Then along the way, we remembered, the hotel will close the food section by 10 p.m. So we're like, okay, let's call that guy in the hotel and let them know that we're coming late, keep some food for us. And then after that, like, oh, hold on, the cab that was supposed to pick us up perhaps left. And like, it really sucks being delayed. But I don't think it sucks if it's well compensated. Like free booze on the aircraft, some chrome, some gin around, or a free flight somewhere else that you'd like to go to. And there's always the idea about make things more efficient. I don't think it's about making them more efficient. You can reduce the delay time to 10 minutes, but people still complain. But if you compensate them, people will complain less. I'd like to leave on time if I'm on a business meeting, connecting a flight, attending a wedding, or something important. But for a normal flight, just give me some booze on the flight. Compensate me well for that. And that's the thing about customer relation. Compensate everyone. Don't make the flight leave early. So the customer never cares whether it was Jambojet's error, is the weather, is the airport error. They don't care. They just want to leave in time. So the only thing you can do for a customer, make it worth it. So until next time, watch, comment, subscribe. I hope you loved the analysis.